All right, let's talk whiskey, but maybe not in the way you're used to. We're going to go deep into the hidden world of this spirit, uncovering the science, the history, and some really surprising secrets that are literally inside every single bottle.
I know, that sounds a little crazy, doesn't it? But trust me, that liquid in your glass, it's not just sitting there. It's alive in a way. It's a chemistry experiment that's always evolving, always changing.
And what about the barrel? We usually just think of wood as, wood, solid, boring. But in the world of whiskey, oh no. The barrel is an active, breathing, flavor-making machine. It even has a memory of what it held before, and where it sits in a warehouse literally determines its destiny.
And this last one, this really gets to a bizarre paradox at the very top of the whiskey world. A place where a whiskey's value and its whole reason for existing are completely at odds. It's a wild concept, and yeah, we're definitely going to unpack that one.
Okay, so keep those questions rattling around in your head. Let's dive into our first big idea here, whiskey's hidden life. Because the key thing to get is that whiskey isn't just made in a distillery. It's more like a collaboration, a partnership between human skill and these huge, powerful forces like chemistry, climate, and time.
And that partnership, it really kicks into gear with the most important thing in a whiskey's life after it's distilled, its home. Which, of course, brings us to the secret of the cask. Because believe me, that wooden barrel, that is where the magic truly begins.
It all comes down to this process called barrel breathing, and it's the engine of everything. Don't think of it as just storage, like a box. It's more like a slow, constant conversation happening between the whiskey and the wood. For years, sometimes decades, the spirit gets pulled into the oak, then pushed back out, again and again, changing just a little bit with every single cycle. And what comes out of that conversation? Well, it's everything we taste in the final glass. All those amazing notes you hear about, vanilla, caramel, coconut, all that spice, none of that is an additive. It's all pulled straight from the wood itself. It's a total transformation of what went into the barrel in the first place. But this breathing process isn't free. There's a price to pay, and it has this beautiful poetic name, the angel share. As the barrel breathes, some of the whiskey just vanishes. It evaporates. And check this out, where the whiskey ages matters a lot. In a cool place like Scotland, the angels take a tiny, polite sip each year. But in hot, tropical climates, they are taking a huge gulp. Seriously, just look at that number, 50%. In some distilleries in the tropics, a barrel can lose half of its whiskey in only 5 years. It just disappears into the air. So next time you see an old whiskey from a tropical country, you have to realize that's not just a rare drink, it's a survivor. It's what's left after a long, hard battle with the heat. And this is where we have to bust a huge myth in the whiskey world. We've all been taught that older is always better, right? But that's just not true. It's really just a marketing line. See, if you leave a whiskey in the barrel for too long, the wood can completely take over, making it taste better, tannic, and just woody. So the real luxury, the real goal, isn't age. It's balance. It's catching that whiskey at its absolute perfect peak. Okay, so we've talked about what's happening inside the barrel, but that barrel isn't just floating in space, right? It's sitting somewhere. And that brings us to a taste of place, because the world outside that barrel is every bit as important. Whiskey, believe it or not, has a sense of geography. It has terroir. I mean, the environment literally gets into the spirit. Think about a warehouse right on the coast getting battered by salty sea air day in and day out. That's going to make a totally different whiskey than one that's been sitting peacefully in some quiet inland valley. The air, the water source, the humidity, it all ends up in your glass. And if you want the ultimate example of terroir, look no further than peat. You know that famous smoky, sometimes medicinal flavor in some Scotch whiskies? That's not just any old smoke. It is the literal taste of the land. It's this whole process. You take ancient, decomposed plants, burn them, and use that smoky fire to dry the barley. That smoke gets absorbed, and voila, history becomes flavor. Think about that for a second. That smoky aroma. It's literally ancient plant matter talking to you from across centuries. It's not just a flavor, it's like a form of time travel. You're tasting the ghost of a landscape that existed thousands of years ago. All right, so we've gone from the cask to the climate. Now let's bring it all the way home. Let's get personal and talk about the science of your sip. What happens right there in your glass and maybe more importantly, in your brain?
So you've probably seen people add a few drops of water to their whiskey. It might look like they're just diluting it, but it's pure chemistry in action. See, a lot of the best aromas are kind of trapped by the alcohol. But but adding just a tiny bit of water breaks them free, lets them escape the glass and get to your nose. So you're not watering it down, you're opening it up.
So, the glass is in your hand, you've maybe added that drop of water, you take a sip. Here's a question for you. What tasted it first, your tongue or your brain?
The answer? It's your brain. And honestly, it's not even close. Long before that whiskey ever touches your tongue, your brain has already formed an opinion. Scientific studies show that things like the price, the fancy label, even the shape of the glass you're using, they all create expectations that literally change how you perceive the flavor. It's wild. Which leads us perfectly into our final idea for today. This is where whiskey stops being just a drink and becomes, well, something else entirely. Remember that paradox I mentioned at the start? Here it is. The most expensive whiskeys in the world often become investments, just like a piece of art or a bar of gold. But here's the crazy part. The one thing you're supposed to do with whiskey, drink it, is the one thing that completely destroys its value as an investment. Its worth isn't in drinking it, but in the possibility of drinking it. How weird is that? And really, that just hammers home the main point here. Every single whiskey is a one-time event. It's a snapshot of a moment. You can never perfectly recreate the exact same conditions, the climate, the quirks of that specific barrel, the water source. It's impossible. Which means when a batch is gone, it's gone for good. So the next time you pour a dram, just take a second to think about what's really in that glass. It's not just whiskey. It's the story of a specific place on Earth. It's the science of wood and weather, and it's a moment in time that will never, ever come again. You're not just drinking whiskey, you're tasting history.